I'm Jen from That Mama Book Nook, and welcome to my channel. This is my very first BookTube video, and like many new booktubers, I am going to start off with the Newbie BookTube Tag. I did a little bit of research, and the person who originally created the tag, that video is no longer up, but I did just want to acknowledge that and give them a little bit of props because this is such a fun way for booktubers to introduce themselves. So the first question is, why did you start this channel? I have been on Bookstagram for 9, almost 10 months now, and I love it there. You can find my username, same one as this one, That Mama Book Nook, and I linked it down below. Feel free to give me a follow. The community there is awesome. I love chatting about books. I found some really great friends over on Bookstagram. Hey besties! And I just really enjoy it. I love how big my TBR has grown. It's been amazing. The only thing I was struggling with is that I was finding I really wanted to chat more about the books that I was reading. I was doing a weekly reading update, and I am a multiple book at a time reader. And I was finding that it was just not enough space that Bookstagram allows you to do it, or also the video length, while, you know, it was plenty of time, it wasn't really something that a lot of people wanted to watch multiple minutes on Bookstagram. That's not, I feel like Instagram isn't really used that way. So kind of just like a natural progression, I am trying my hand at BookTube. I also have admired the BookTube community. Also around the same time I found Bookstagram last summer, I also stumbled onto BookTube, and I just think it also seems like a really fun community. I love the TBR videos and all the creative readathons and the vlogs and the wrap-ups and the challenges, and I just wanted to be part of the community and maybe meet some new friends also. The next question is, what are some fun and unique things that I could bring to BookTube? So I have a couple unique reading styles, but I find that many people are mood readers, many people read 1 to 2 books at a time. I am a pretty strict TBR reader. It can change depending on certain aspects. I have a TBR system, and it's pretty elaborate and a little bit chaotic, and I'm going to share all about it in another video, but I definitely think it is fairly unique. And then I do read multiple books at a time, as I mentioned. I'm not talking 2 to 3 books at a time. I am talking 6 to 12 books at a time that I'm actively reading. So that's kind of 2 fun things that I plan to share a little bit more about. I am also trying to convince my husband to do a little book chat once a month that I think will be fun. Think about calling it book banter, but name to be determined. But basically we would both read the same book, one book during the month, and then come on camera to talk about it. We are very, very, very different readers. We have very different genres that we like. We also read in different formats. He is almost exclusively audiobook. I listen to 0 audiobooks. And we have shared recommendations before and chatted about them, and our conversations are really, really fun. So I'm trying to convince him that we could chat about it here, and it would be something fun and unique to bring. He might need a little bit of encouragement, but fingers crossed, hopefully I can get him to do that. And then not necessarily unique, but I also plan to do all the BookTube classics. I, love the TBR videos, the wrap-up videos. I maybe will do some vlogging. I, want to share my 5-star reads, my favorite authors, book recommendations in certain genres. Again, not unique, but still something really fun that I can bring as well. The next question is, what are you most excited for with this new channel? Number one, I am excited to meet more people in the BookTube community. It seems like a really fun community. I love watching booktubers collaborate and make friendships, and I want to be in on that. And then, of course, I'm excited for all of the book recommendations. I read across all genres. I will pretty much pick up anything that is recommended and sounds interesting to me. So I'm excited to get some more on my TBR. Not that it needs it, but I don't mind if my TBR is never ending. Why do I love reading? When I read this question, I immediately thought of that meme that's been going around, oh, I love this question. I love reading for so many reasons. I love that it brings people together. It's such an easy hobby to connect with people, whether you like the same books or different books. As long as you like reading, it's such an easy thing to talk to people about, and I love it. Both the BookTube community and the Bookstagram community are just so welcoming, so friendly, so fun. You can just tell that reading is very special. I also love that reading is relaxing. I do not remember the last time that I went to bed and didn't read at least one chapter of a book. It just really helps to quiet my brain after a long day. I don't have to think about the things that happened earlier in the day. I don't have to think about my to-do list for tomorrow. It just really helps to quiet me so that I can have a nice sleep. And then reading is good for any emotion. Happy? Go read. Sad? Go read. Angry, frustrated, anything. Go read. I love it. The next question is, what book series got me into reading? I have been an avid reader since I was really young, so I'm probably aging myself a little bit here. I don't remember the books that I necessarily read when I was super young, but some of my first memories of reading series, Babysitter's Club, Sweet Valley Twins, American Girl series. I definitely probably read some Judy Blume, some Roald Dahl. So, yep, those definitely got me into reading. And then when I went to nursing school, when I became a mom, probably can tell from my username, but I'm a mom. I have 3 kids. I am also a pediatric nurse practitioner, but I am currently home with my kids. I'm not working right now. But when I went to nursing school, when I became a mom, my reading definitely dropped off a little bit. I never stopped reading fully, but if you went and looked back at some of my Goodreads, I was probably only reading less than 10 books a year, probably 9, which is awesome, but that's low for me. Then last summer, my kids are starting to get just a tiny bit older, a tiny bit more independent, not needing me quite as much. So I stumbled onto Bookstagram and BookTube and was hearing all about Fourth Wing, the Empyrean series, and really didn't think that it was going to be for me, but I decided after I was literally bombarded with it that I needed to see what it was all about. I picked it up. I really enjoyed it. It was such a fun read. And then I started my own Bookstagram. My reading skyrocketed, and here we are. So I do credit the Empyrean series for getting me kind of back into reading as well. What questions would you ask your favorite booktubers? I have so many questions. Some of them being, what advice would you have for a newbie booktuber just starting out? What would you have done differently if you could go back? What is the best way to make connections on BookTube? I feel like on Bookstagram it's fairly easy. On BookTube, to me it seems harder. It probably isn't, because I see so many people develop such great friendships on BookTube also. So I'd love to know how to make those friendships. And what is your favorite type of video to watch? What's your favorite type of video to make? And what is your favorite BookTube book recommendation that you've received? The next question is, what challenges do you think starting a BookTube will be the hardest to overcome? I'm obviously a little bit late to the game on BookTube. I've heard it's a dying platform. I don't necessarily see that from an outsider's point of view, but I know that the technology world is constantly changing and BookTube has been around for a while. I also, as I mentioned, am a mom of 3 still pretty young children, and they will be home for the most part with me all summer. So, you know, they are amazing little humans, but they are loud and wild, and I wouldn't change that about them, but sometimes finding the time, the quiet, is a little bit tricky. So yeah, just finding that time, the consistency, and bringing that unique aspect to BookTube I think will be the hardest, but I'm going to give it my best shot. The next question is, when did you start reading? My parents have pretty much been reading to me since birth, and I was reading chapter books by kindergarten, so I've always been a reader. And then, like I mentioned before, it dropped off a little during busy times in my life, but last summer it really picked up again. Where do you read? I read anywhere. I always have a book with me just in case I have a quiet couple moments where I can pull it out. You usually can find me reading either in my bed or on the couch, but my favorite place to read is the beach or outside in general. And then the last question is, what kinds of books do you read? I read pretty much anything. I can't think off the top of my head of any like general genre or anything that I wouldn't read, so I'm pretty much open to anything. I love romance. The fake dating trope is one of my favorites. I read thrillers, I read horror, I read mystery. I am starting to get a little bit more into fantasy. I read, general contemporary fiction, like literally anything. And then my sweet spot for books is historical fiction. That's definitely my comfort genre. I love historical fiction, even though they often make me emotional and sad. But honestly, like a book that tears me apart emotionally is usually a 5-star read for me. And that's it. Thank you so much for watching my first BookTube video. As I said, I'm really excited to be here. Feel free to introduce yourself in the comments, or if you're not feeling super chatty, just leave me a waving hand emoji to let me know that you were here. And I can't wait to chat with you again soon.